Hi everyone, this is Drew. Welcome to the Fire Artisan channel. Today we are feeling a Covetous Urge. We are we're playing an underrated sorcery. It is a 4-mana spell, and what it looks like is we just look at our opponent's hand, we choose anything that's not a land, and then it goes into a special exile zone where we can cast it anytime, and they can't take that away from us. It's not like hostage taker where, you know, if they kill something or there's some sort of condition that we have to meet to cast the card or they get it back. They don't get it back. We just get to cast it. It's a very powerful card. It's an underrated card, and it's only an uncommon. It is an expensive card, so I think that's why it's not seeing a lot of play. You also have to be pretty strictly in DIMIR colors to play this card, or, you know, mono black, mono blue, something like that. As you can see, the costing cast is actually pretty steep. Being in 3 colors would be a little bit tricky. You wouldn't be able to tap for that third color at all. But I just wanted to build around this card, and I figure what better shell for this to support this card than DIMIR Control, which is already decently well positioned, I think. Blue and black are great colors to be in. So I'll take you through kind of the support cards. I like playing with some ops just at the bottom of the curve. We've got Omen of the Sea, Eliminate, a couple copies of Thought Erasure. I'm not that high on Thought Erasure, so I would consider this a pretty flexible spot. You could definitely play, what's that, 2-mana black sorcery where you exile a card from their hand. You can definitely play that. Agonizing Remorse. Boom. Got it. Yeah, you can definitely play with 4 copies of that. That's a strong card. I totally get that. You can also exile something from their graveyard with it. I just really like to surveil, you know, and this is more of a classic DIMIR card. This deck is kind of a classic DIMIR deck. It's got that spirit. So that I wanted to play certain classic DIMIR cards. We've got 3 copies of Mystical Dispute. This is a solid card, especially with all the targets in the current metagame. Lots of Bant and Azorius out there right now. You know, Simic, etc. Narset, always a strong card. We don't have that many creatures in our deck, so she's very likely to hit. 1 copy of Neutralize, which we can cycle away. You can totally do Sinister Sabotage. Neutralize is kind of my preferred card. I like to be able to cycle things away, but totally up to you. We got 2 copies of Cry of the Carnarium. That's pretty standard. We just don't want to get run over. In the same spirit of just taking stuff from our opponent and having that DIMIR flavor, I wanted to play with some copies of Thief of Sanity. 3 is definitely too many. I think, should I even do this right now? All right, I'm going to go on record as saying I should do this, right? The responsible thing is to maybe play with like 1 or 2 copies or 0 copies, but we're going to play 3 copies. I can't do 4. That's irresponsible. It's obviously an awesome card, but it's so likely to be answered. It's so easy to answer. Almost any card in any deck answers this card. So I think ideally we play these kind of in the later game. We don't really want too many of them in our hand. So Ritual of Soot, pretty standard. We don't want to get run over. Atris is a really strong DIMIR card. Probably one of the most underrated 4-drops in the format. Yeah, I mean, it draws you so many cards. The 2 piles thing is kind of a psychological setback for the opponent. I mean, I know from experience that when someone drops an Atris on me, it is just awful. I mean, it's horrible to see that card. You know they're getting 2 cards, or maybe 1 really powerful card. It's not where you want to be, and it's also 3/2 menace, so it's not bad. Again, Covetous Urge. We're kind of building around this card. Ashiok, really strong DIMIR Planeswalker. Creates 2 3s, which are pretty substantial creatures. Really good blockers against aggressive decks and you know, aggressive cards in their own right if you just have an unanswered Ashiok. And Ashiok's minus is very useful, very relevant, very kind of Teferi like. And the -7 is it comes up fast. I mean, 2 ticks up and you can ultimate Ashiok, which is pretty powerful. Playing with 4 copies of Shark Typhoon, just one of the best blue cards in the format. I mean, especially for a control deck. This will give us some kind of pre-sideboard play against some, cards, decks like Azorius Control, Bant Control, just more instant speed play. And we're playing a DIMIR deck, so of course we're playing 1 copy of Liliana. I don't think you want to really play with more than 1 copy. She's a really expensive card, although powerful. So the only other thing to really talk about here is the castles. So I like playing with... one way you can definitely go to be a little bit more conservative is just 1 of each. You could also not even play with Castle Lochthwain just because this deck is already drawing a decent amount of cards, and you might not even want to activate it, obviously, if you're in a situation where you have 2 or 3 cards in hand and you can't afford to pay the life. Whereas Castle Vantress, if you have an opportunity to use this card, then you're going to want to use it. And honestly, the longer the game goes, it sort of becomes more important to get your scries, to get a big scry in, than to just draw 1 extra card. So you could definitely play 2 Castle... So what I'm getting at is you could definitely play 2 Castle Vantress and 0 Castle Lochthwain in this build. I think everything else is pretty straightforward. I'll show you the sideboard. So 3 negates, 1 mystical dispute, just pretty heavily in counter magic. Should be pretty obvious where we're going to want to board that in. Narset is a great card against, obviously, an opposing deck that is drawing a lot of cards. So that's when we'll bring it in. I mean, it can really shut down the Is It Phoenix decks, which have started to come what am I trying to say? Like, Is It spells? I mean, these decks are coming out of the woodwork now after sort of a long hibernation. So it's really great to see. I know we're going to be playing with it soon, but not today because we're doing Covetous Urge. 2 Cry of the Carnarium, 1 Ritual of Soot. Just got to clear the board against the aggressive decks. Got to pay respect to the to those strategies. Okay, Nightveil Predator. Yeah, this one is half silly, half serious. So I remember like years ago, this card's been out for a long time. It's going to rotate out soon, so it's an excellent opportunity to play with it. First of all, very creepy card, very psychologically debilitating for our opponents to play against. It is a nasty card. It's a scary card. But as far as what it actually does is you don't really want to bring it in against creature decks, first of all. That said, it is hexproof, so it's very annoying for the right kind of creature deck. It's great to bring in against, obviously, decks that are playing with flyers, or maybe even decks that are playing with small enough creatures that this will actually hold its own as a blocker. Wouldn't be good against like a Gruul deck, obviously, but where it actually shines is against opposing control decks, like Azorius Control, things like that, post-sideboard, knowing that you are very much a control deck, where DIMIR Control, they're going to notice a card like Covetous Urge and think, I've got to be countering, I've got to play that kind of magic. I'm going to take out my board clearing and, a decent amount of my creature removal. We bring 3 Nightveil Predators in, and even if they still have creature removal in the deck, spot removal, they're very likely to have boarded out their Wraths. So, and a Wrath is the only way to deal with this card, except to just block it. So that's also totally possible, but in my experience, this card can just win games on its own. So it can be a little bit of a mirror breaker. So we're playing with some copies of it. Also, it's a super fun card. I mean, Enter the God Eternals, another very, very powerful DIMIR card. Obviously great against creature matchups. This one sizes up, so you can definitely play this card against like a sort of a bigger Gruul deck, a bigger green deck. That's what we're looking at. And Commence the Endgame is another mirror breaker in the type of match where we're sitting on a decent amount of counter magic and playing a lot of spells, instant speed. This just tends to be a really strong card for those situations. So that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to jump in the queue here. Again, Covetous Urge is the main card, and that's why I have the Covetous Urge artwork as my deck, as my, what do you even call that? Cover, deck cover. So we're going to go into best of 3 here. I've been having some success with this deck. Normally, I mean, you'll see recently I've been playing some crazy decks. Lately, I played that one deck that has all of my mythic cards in it. How do you even say that? All the mythic cards in my collection, my mythic rare cards, are in this deck. Okay, wait. I have to think about this. Yeah, this is a pretty bad hand, but it's also not that bad. Temple of Deceit is probably the main reason I think I'm going to keep it. I feel pretty likely to scry into something that is less expensive, and I can also sharkle. Yeah, I can sharkle on turn 2 to see another card, so I think I am going to keep this. Famous last words. All right, don't need another Watery Grave. Yeah. So we'll see if we want to sharkle here. Tithe Taker. All right. Yeah, we're going to wait on the Shark Typhoon. Oh, I see. Okay. So if I want to if I want to cycle this shark, I have to do it now for 1, which does not seem like a great play, but it does just trade with this Tithe Taker, which isn't bad. Okay, sorry, okay. Do I want to do that into a turn 4 Covetous Urge? I think I do. I think that's better than nothing. And we got another Shark Typhoon. Perfect. Okay, this looks to be sort of a mono white life gain thing. I think we play Covetous Urge here. Is there any reason to play a black land? No, I don't think so. All right, here we go. Namesake card. Oh, Baneslayer Angel. Is that the take or is it a Johnny? They do have land number 4 for a Johnny. And Baneslayer Angel is a 5-drop that we can just remove with Thought Erasure. But I so want to play with Baneslayer Angel. Also, a Johnny's so bad for us to take because he's not even good. Do we let them have a Johnny? I don't think we do. I'm taking the Angel. Is that the responsible thing to do? No. No, it's not. Oh, they go with Linden so they can attack. All right, so we're taking 9 here. Do you just block with a shark? Yeah, I think you do. All right, so we could play Baneslayer Angel. We could also play Ashiok and get rid of Linden. Kind of like an unanswered Baneslayer Angel. Let's see, I could I could Thought Erasure and make a shark for 1. That doesn't seem that good though. Cry of the Carnarium only gets the Tithe Taker. I think it's Baneslayer Angel. We're definitely looking for our removal though. We honestly haven't seen that much of it. Okay. All right, so yeah, we're just taking 7. Great, perfect. Just what we wanted to do. All right. So I could Ashiok minus on the Heliod because it does have 2 counters on it, and it will have... could also just plus the Ashiok. Kind of like that. You know, I think I like this better. Oh, crap. I totally meant to surveil that away. All right, so we're going to respect the Tithe Taker, and this does not have Vigilance. All right. So I'm not feeling that great. We did get rid of the Ajani, though. I mean, that definitely feels like a card that would be very easy to lose to. All right, so they're going to continue to put counters on their Heliod. Obviously, one weakness of this deck is that nothing has trample, and there's no way to give anything trample. Thief of Sanity is a nasty card. Cry of the Carnarium actually looks pretty good here because I can get rid of the 2 Tithe Takers. Can do that plus Narset. But then I have to chump block the Heliod. What if I play Ashiok minus him? Yeah, that's my answer to Heliod. I think I am doing that. So we are sacrificing the Ashiok for this play, but I think this is the play. What can I say? I think that's the play. We had to get rid of that card. All right, so now they're just on token making mode, and I think we're just going to play Cry the Carnarium next turn. They don't have any way to give things counters. Okay. I think I'm more worried about Linden. So this is 5, 6, 7. I think we just take this, right? Yeah. Oh, they're done. Okay. Was I overthinking that? Maybe. Alrighty. So sideboarding here should be pretty straightforward. Don't think we want Nightveil Predator. I think we want Ritual of Soot, Cry the Carnarium. Enter the God Eternals. Shark Typhoon does not really shine here. I think Covetous Urge is okay. We'll keep it in. Thief of Sanity is not good here. Neutralize is not good. Do we want Neutralize? Do we want Mystical Dispute? No, not really. Well, I don't know. Shark Typhoon isn't too bad. I guess I am considering one copy of Neutralize just for their Planeswalkers. I don't know how likely they are to... I don't know. I mean, I feel like the way you sideboard in this matchup is to bring in a card like Gideon, but are we really holding up mana for that? I'll bring in the copy of Neutralize. Yeah. Yeah, we'll try this. I think the... if we can have a turn 3 Cry before they have put a ton of counters on their stuff, that would be huge. Cry the Carnarium is not that good in this matchup in general, just because most of their stuff is going to be above 2 toughness. And this does not look like a keepable hand to me. Got 4 copies of Eliminate, so we really want to see a card like that in the opening hand. I think I am going to send this back. This has everything we want except black. I don't know, Covetous Urge is a card we can actually cast. I think I'd rather have as many looks as possible. Ooh. Fabled Passage is another black source. So we are back in black. Oh, my opponent misses a land drop. Yeah. Hushbringer, okay. So entering and dying effects are no longer a thing. Eliminate seems fine. We'll wait on the Cry, obviously. We just have one creature down at the moment. What do we want to do here? I think we just take this damage and then eliminate the Pridemate. I think we just make a 2/2 here, kill the Hushbringer. Seems fine. This doesn't strike me as a particularly good matchup for my opponent. I feel bad. Is it time to Covetous Urge? Yeah. I feel like we're pretty far ahead. We'll take their Ajani. Okay, so when I make this attack, I'm okay with getting hit by a 4/4 Pridemate. That's what's in store. I'm not going to do this chump block, so I'm going to do the attack. No, they're just going to double spell. Why did they do that? Yeah, weird not to just play Linden there. think I'm going to wait on the Ajani. Leave him back. So I think I want to play one of my 2-mana spells right now because of the Tithe Taker's ability. Liliana seems pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, but only 5 lands. Yeah, no, we'll take the Liliana. All right, we'll eliminate. We're happy to wait on the Liliana a couple of turns. We can play a Johnny next turn. That's not bad. All right. Looks my opponent is going to make it an angel. That's good stuff. Oh, I'd love to draw a land minus Liliana. Oh. But no, it's not as good anymore. Okay, so I think what we want to do is Cry of the Carnarium right now. They hit us with the Angel, play Linden, and then we Liliana minus. I think that's the play. So here's Cry. Oh, we can just play a second one. Didn't really think about that. Because then they just play Linden, and then they're just kind of out of gas. I kind of like that. Okay, I think... Yeah, I know about this Banishing Light, so I think I would rather... have them deal with my Ajani. All right, here's Banishing Light on the Ajani. Okay, I'm just going to take this. Well, these cards both seem really strong. I think I'd rather have entered the God Eternals first. Yeah, I think we're in a situation now where kind of can't lose. So yeah, this has been DIMIR Covetous Urge. We were lucky. We were able to Covetous Urge 2 of my opponent's cards. I mean, this has been, yeah. Yeah, this has not been a good match for them. Not a good matchup for them, yeah. But on the bright side, you know, we won, so that's great. We're excited. So thank you so much for joining me today. This has been DIMIR Control Covetous Urge. It's a pretty good deck. Covetous Urge is an uncommon, so there are definitely a lot of ways you can build this deck for it to be on the budget side. And yeah, it's essentially a budget deck in the sense that Covetous Urge is an uncommon card, so it's pretty easy to redeem, pretty easy to get. And I would love to see it or experiment with it in mono black and mono blue shells. I think that would be cool. I think it's designed for those shells as well. So anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for the people who have subscribed, and I hope that if someone watches this video and they like what they see, they will subscribe to my content. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.